Hello. So, I was talking with Joseph and Antoine about some minor refactoring I was working on, and the discussion was interesting, and we thought maybe the process of refactoring is as well. So, I'm going to show you how I do look at code and how I mess up, and we'll see. Enough of an introduction. Let's get started. So, I'm looking at the Refinery source project, and I was looking at the way we parse MaxMind, and I thought there are a few things we could do a bit cleaner. So I'm looking at this ISPDatabaseReader. I see that this method seems really long. It looks like there's a lot of duplication. We do the same kind of check if null, and if not, let's set some values. There's probably a way to make that simpler. We have a few check. There are, we're declaring that variable, but we're not using until later. So let's see. Move declaration of IP address closer to usage might be easier. This response as well might be something we can move closer to usage. Yeah, we can get better probably. And then one of the things that is confusing me a little bit is we're creating this Refinery ISP database response with default values. So how does that work? Yeah, we have a bunch of properties that are initialized with like unknown values. And then if we have a problem, we're returning that unknown thing, and otherwise we start setting different fields and returning as a whole at the end. That sounds like a null object pattern where we could have one single object representing unknowns and then returning a known object at some point. So let's see what we can do in there. Let's go back there. So I would like to have, let's start by moving all that to the constructor. Okay, everything in the constructor. I probably want to extract that as a parameter. Yeah, only this one. From the ISP, I can extract this one. It's called organization. Introduce a parameter that's autonomous system. Yeah, I don't want the one. Yeah, and this one again. Yes, that's slightly better, I think. And while I'm here, we're returning a map with different values as a map. This one should probably be immutable. Yeah, that's an unmodifiable map. We don't want people to modify it afterward. I can, static import. That's more readable. That's just me being picky. So I introduce all those constructor parameter, but what I wanted to do here is to introduce a null object that's a unknown ISP database response. answer new refinery database response blah 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 with the default value that are what was it? Just view this. Boop. Oh no, that was all on the, okay. So it was ISP, it was unknown value, unknown, where was that unknown value? It was coming from somewhere else? No. And were we? No. Okay, I'm confused where. Oh yes, that unknown value is there. Why isn't it? Yeah, because I don't know how to type, probably. Unknown value, organization, was it? Unknown value, and then there was unknown value, and let's copy paste something like that, and yeah, I'm missing a type, that's why. Okay, let's add a new line. Yeah, that's easier to read. Good. So I've introduced that object. Yeah, this one, it's not public. That's okay, because here what I really want to do is to introduce that refinery on unknown response, and yeah, I can do a static import as well. So actually I want to return that in case of errors. That's, yeah. So here, if we don't have the right network things, we're returning our null object. Yeah, some weird exception mapping. So that's again, if response is null, we're returning an unknown response. And here we're starting to do actual stuff. So for the moment, let's move this closer to where we're using it. Yeah, we're starting to use it around here. It's possible to extract method returning from a long surrounding method. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, actually. Extract method here. And that's something about parsing the response or create a response. That's going to be temporary. And I can inline it. Okay. So now I have something about managing my exceptions. So I have something that's like doing the request, checking the result, and then I'm creating the response. That sounds better already. Can I do that a little bit better as well? So in terms of exceptions, I have either an unknown host exception if I have a problem with that IP address that I'm really using here. and then I might have a problem getting stuff from the MaxMind database. It's a different kind of error. And actually, if I'm not parsing the response, then let's check when I'm returning that ISP response, is there a chance that it can be null? So we're throwing exceptions in case of problems. And yeah, that's an object mapper. So we're parsing something with Jackson or something similar. Was it? Yeah. So when we're parsing that subject here, that's never going to be null. So if that call succeeds, we never have a null. So what we can do instead is, when we're managing that exception, we're returning completely if there's a problem. So that's what we do here. Here we always return, which means here do I reuse this? Yes. So let's move stuff a little bit. Whoops, not what I wanted to do. So I'm returning stuff directly. I can get that closer. That's good. So what else did we have? So we're checking that IP utils. Yeah. If it's not coming from the internet, then we don't want to pass further than that. And I still have that IP address. I can put that together with this. Oh, that's a bit messy, but okay. And then moving closer to usage, that's pretty good. Did something weird with the indentation. Let's just remove indentation back. Okay. And I don't like those curly brackets when there is a single expression. Actually, my rule is that you should never use called blocks with an if. It should always be a single method call, and you should not need those things. Okay, I need to change the order of this because unknown host exception is an IO exception. So I want to catch that one first, and then the other one. And actually, I'm doing exactly the same kind of thing, just checking. Yeah, this is an IO exception as well, so I don't actually need to have two different catch blocks because they do exactly the same. Okay, even simpler. So at least the code is getting a lot shorter. Now I want to change that response, or at least to have a look at that response. So I'm starting with that unknown response, and I'm checking each time if the properties are null, are not null. I'm setting something. Same thing, I get the organization. If it's not null, I'm setting something. The autonomous system is not null, I'm setting it, and so on and so on. So I'm doing the same for each thing. And so that sounds a lot like a class invariant. We want that ISP database response to have an invariant that all of its properties are never null, but we're checking that outside of the class. And so that's not super good because I have a class invariant that's not actually managed by the class itself. So someone could break that in some way. If it's a class invariant, I should really be checking that at construction time. So when I'm constructing a new response, I should ensure that it's always constructed with what I want. Let's see, and each time it's the same thing. I'm checking something. If it's null, I'm setting if it's yeah, if it's not null, I'm setting it. What I'm really expressing here is that I'm starting from default and I'm overriding the default. But I think it's more clear if I'm saying set ISP as whatever value I have, unless it's null, then I have a default value for that field. And that's, yeah, I have something I happen to know it exists because I've done that just a little bit earlier. Where did I put that? Probably here. There was something about a first not null somewhere here. First not null. Where do I have that? Oh, I'm using Guava. Yeah, that's reasonable. Objects, that's a Guava objects, right? Yeah. Let's use that. So what I would like to have here is something like what I really want to return is a new, no, let's do that the other way around. Let's close what I don't need. So here, what I'm saying is I want to check the default. And so the default should be objects. Where is the Guava objects? Yeah, first not null, first not null. Yeah, let's do the Guava one. ISP, and if it's not null, it's an unknown value. I can do a static import, that's easier to read. First not null, otherwise it's an unknown value. And where is it? Yeah, just for the system number, I have another default unknown value. And so here as well. But this time it's a system number. Okay, that sounds good. So now I have a class invariant that is not entirely enforced because I still have setters. But at least at construction, I'm making sure that I always have what I want, which means I don't need to do those kind of checks. I can do something like return a new response, and it's response.getISP, response.getOrganization, response.get, yeah, autonomous system organization, and response.get system number. Okay, that sounds good. And yeah, let's just add a few line return because I think that's easier to read. And so all that I don't need anymore. Now that method does really nothing, so I can just inline it here, inline all and remove method. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, how does that look? So here it's much shorter. I'm just doing my call to that ISP reader, and then I'm creating a response. I'm managing exceptions. I'm doing the same all the time. They're all managed in the same ways. That's good. It's pretty clear. Now, okay, I see that all those setters are not used anymore, so I can remove them. That's always good. And that means that now that class is immutable, so I can mark all those fields as final. And so, yeah, those getter are never used, but that's okay. They're used externally to this, so it's not detected, but I'm sure they're part of the public interface. And I can tag that class as immutable, so it's clear. And yeah, I can also document that all those fields are non-null. That's probably a good idea as well. And just make that a bit more compact. Okay, so all those fields are never null. Good, I think that's reasonable. Let's review this. Okay, I think that looks better. To be clear, like that code was perfectly working before. It's hopefully still perfectly working. We'll see what the test says. It's not like it required to be cleaned in any way. There are no known functional or performance issues. It's just me having fun because I find that therapeutic and maybe someone is interested. I'll push that and we'll see what happens. See you.